that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay, won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. Coming for the throne. So you wanna be my enemy? You should've known I'd never kiss the rain. Ice runs in my veins, won't play it safe. I don't belong with your nobility. Who died and made you king of anything? You think that I'm insane? It's your mistake. Kingdoms rise and fall, I've come to take it all. I'll take it, I've come to take it. Kingdoms rise and fall, I've come to take it all. So you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. For the throne.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes. Pieces is a form of art. never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes.
All right, took me a minute to figure out, gosh, man, I'm still getting used to this new restream and the layout changes they made. Happy Friday, guys, October 25th. Welcome. We're going to start off a little different tonight, talking about a GameStop. But before I do that, hello to the chat, and let me work on getting our guest in here. The monkey tamer himself, mediocre trader. How's it going, my friend?
What's up?
Your mic is low again, to me anyways.
Is it? I don't know what. Is it? Is this better?
That's getting better, getting better.
I don't know what the hell's going on then. Hang on. Let me try to do
Dink,
this.
how you doing? Henhouse Cannibal says, where is it? He says, Tony, I wrote to you earlier that I was going to start selling my GameStop slowly. Then you posted that song, and now Ryan Cohen did a random YOLO tweet. I saw that. I think he already deleted it, but let me put it up on the screen here for you guys, because thanks to the power of Reddit, it is captured. 5:26 p.m. Let me just do it. Yeah, depends on the time zone, but 26 minutes after the hour. Let me share a screen here. Screen share. This is what we got. Mediocre, did you know about this? Ryan Cohen said YOLO.
Oh my God. No, I didn't see that.
Apparently, he watched my video, Mediocre, and he was reinvigorated his enthusiasm.
That's what it was. I love
it. Before we get into the GameStop talk, for those that are wondering what the heck is he talking about, watch your video. Let me see if I can get this video up on the screen, Mediocre.
Get it.
Up and to the right. Up and to the right. Up and to the right.
Hello, millionaires. Short screenplays, my fortune flip. GameStop's journey, an epic trip. From humble roots to the moon we fly. A company's dream will amplify. Reddit warriors, keyboards in hand. With their eyes on the prize, they took a stand. No one's selling, we're here to fight. How does it go? Up and to the right. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. GameStop's on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar, molasses in sight. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. GameStop's on the rise. trembling, Kenny's in shock. GameStop stock, you'll never stop. From diamond hands to rocket ships, we're not selling, we buy every dip. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. Up and to the right, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Up and to the right, more asses in sight. Billions in cash on the balance sheet, we will win even if they cheat. Dilute us more, we don't care. Book value grows with every share. The doubters say it can't be done, but the retail army we've already won. With every share we'll never stop. Investors say we love the stock. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. GameStop's on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar. Up and to the right. Up and to the right. We're in for the ride. Together we'll soar. Up and to the right.
Surprise!
We're gonna win.
All right, mediocre.
We're gonna win,
Yeah,
Tony. We're gonna win.
We're gonna win. Yeah, apparently Ryan Cohen saw that video and he was like, YOLO. He posted a YOLO tweet, and then he posted another one, mediocre. Let me share that screen just so we can kick this off. Sorry, this is going to be a little bit of politics, but you can blame Ryan Cohen. He says, Trump is the shit. And I'll let you guys read the initials there. Read from top to bottom. I think he's getting jacked, mediocre.
Jack, baby.
Oh, man. All right. Let's talk a couple GameStop things. There was some 10Q amendments today. Let me put that screen up so we can talk about it. It's not a big deal, but I just want to make sure we go over everything and get that out of the way. And then we'll talk about the chart and the predictions we made on Sunday and how those worked out. Screen share, come on. Oh, my eyes are looking on the left side. It used to be on the left side after I did a screen share. All right, we have 210Q/A. The /A tells you that that is an amendment to an existing 10Q. So if you ever see these, you want to read in the beginning what was the amendment, and they usually tell you that right here in the beginning. And so they do. It says the company is filing the amendment to the quarterly 10Q for the period May 4th. And they had another one, same thing. We're not going to do this twice. They had another one for the period ending in August. This amendment is being filed for the purpose of amending the certifications of the company's principal executive officer and principal financial officer. So that's the Ryan Cohen and the finance officer, filed as exhibits 3.1, 31.1, 31.2, yada, yada, yada. You can, everything here is the same. We just go down to the bottom and we can pull up those exhibits and see what they had to say. That if you can do this on your own, I'm just showing you how to do it. We're not going to spend a long time on this. It's really a nothing burger, but we have from the executive officer and the financial officer, and then from the executive officer and the financial officer. And this just basically says from each of them that everything that was previously filed is correct. I don't know what prompted them to do this. You guys got a theory? Drop it in the chat. It's not really that big of a deal to me. There might be a reason. Maybe they missed something. I don't know everything, but this mostly looks very vanilla to me. You know what people are going to say, though? Oh, Tony, he's getting ready for the merger with Bed Bath & Beyond. Bye-bye, baby. Don't you know, Tony? You know it. I don't know that. But that's what they're going to say. You can bet on it. You can take that to the bank.
Take it to the bank, Tony.
Oh, man. All right. Let's look at some charts. Mediocre, did you look at GameStop at all today?
I was just going to ask you, where'd we close today?
Oh, yeah. Do you remember, Mediocre? Did any of y'all watch my... Hey, let's ask the chat. Who's watching my TA videos on the weekend? Did anybody watch about 2/3 of the way through where I said, okay, yada, 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 chart, TA, falling channel, moving averages. But if you're going to pin me to the mat, here's what I think GameStop is going to close at on Friday. I'll award you an honorary prize if you remember and drop it in the chat. What price I told you GameStop would close at the end of the day today?
Tony, are you sure supply and demand zones work? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Sorry.
Oh, I forgot to mention yada, 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 declining channel, moving averages, supply and demand zone. Very valid TA. More valid than looking at algorithms and trying to figure out if they're being repeated, stretched, flipped upside down, smack it, flip it, rub it down, all that algo nonsense that these buffoons talk about. Cheers, brother. Cheers. Supply and demand zone trading is the bomb, Mediocre. JM said Tony guessed $20. SH says $21. You're both close, but not right. All right. Let's see if we can guess based on where. What does this say here, Mediocre, in after hours? I wonder if I can make this bigger. 2057 to close. I don't know if, oh, wait, y'all can't see that. Hang on. Might help if I pull up the screen. Get a couple more votes in. You got time while I pull up this screen here.
Tony, did you see this? What I got back here on my computer?
I love it. I love your setup there. Your office looks so clean and crisp now compared to before. You did a little cleanup there, Mediocre, huh?
Yeah, I got a maid, you know.
Maid.
Trust fund
She's
baby,
so
you know what I'm saying?
Ain't no dust bunnies or nothing, Mediocre.
Nope.
Scott Gray says 2037. Dink says all I remember is that Tony's prediction was in line with what I thought. All right, let's put up the screen. 2057 was the official close when the market closed. After hours, I know it's real tiny right there. It says 2050. And would you believe, Mediocre, that that is exactly the price I mentioned in my video on Sunday?
No. I know that that's probably most
I
likely.
can't hear you.
I said no. I know that's most likely the case. Do you hear me?
I mean, it's like 40% of normal. Yeah, Anya, I was 7 cents off with the official close on Friday, but they brought it down after hours to exactly where I thought it would go. Now, how did we do that? How did we do that? There'll be another TA video. I don't always get it exactly. I'm being having a little bit of fun with you guys. Nobody can do TA perfectly, even me. But it is fun when you nail it to the penny. So the reason that I share my thoughts with you on the TA is not because I hate GameStop. It's because there are people literally out there telling you to buy it every day at any price. And, you know, if you want to know how I'm trading it, I'm trying to get the best entry I can based on what I see on the chart. I want the most risk-free entry because on a fair value basis, the stock is worth I've done the calculations based on what we know for revenue estimates and the interest off of the $4.6 billion. When I add all of that up for the rest of this year, I come up with a fair valuation on a 25 PE ratio around $12. And that was being very generous on my earnings estimates for them. Very generous. Go watch the video I did about 10 days ago on the fundamental analysis of GameStop. So that doesn't mean that that's not my price target for this week or next week. That just means that's the fair valuation that Wall Street's got in the back of their mind. And there's this battle going on between investors right now, retail, that own a considerable amount of the float. The shorts aren't really attacking this play. There's barely any shorts in this play, under 9%. So there's this battle on very low volume going on right now. And I want to trade that as intelligently as I can to get a good entry. And then when it does pop, I'm best positioned to take profits instead of having to buy in, let it get bled out a couple dollars, and then run up. I don't always time the bottom perfectly, and sometimes I miss it because I'm too greedy. But I want to get in the best entry that I possibly can. So that's the reason I share the TA videos with you. Doesn't mean you need to listen. Doesn't mean you need to like it. It's just what I'm using for my own trading. And this is my channel. And we got to have something to talk about. So I am trading the stock. And so I just share with you guys. And you can hold me accountable over time to see how accurate we are. I mean, I have all of my trades on the screen here. The purples down here are all the buys. The oranges are the sells. We've been making, good money on GameStop this year. What I'm not going to do is come on a live stream every night and tell you to buy GameStop at every price, any price, all day, every day, because that just seems silly to me when the market is wanting to push it down. Just exercise a little bit of common sense and patience. Wait a couple days. You can probably get a better price. And if it starts moving up, guess what, mediocre? What do we do? What do we do if we aren't in a play and it starts moving up and on high volume, mediocre? I can't hear him, but we enter the play with the cash we have sitting on the sideline. It's real easy to buy into a play, guys. Just so you know, you're not going to miss anything. If you wait a couple days and it starts moving, you're not going to miss out. It's not going to rocket from 20 to 60 in 5 minutes. All right. I think Mediocre is trying to fix his microphone. I'm going to have a sip of beer. Six Sun says, can you do TA on HE? Yeah, let's look at a couple of other tickers. You guys have any questions about GameStop? I will do another TA video this weekend. These people are driving me crazy everywhere on social media, focusing on the volume and that damn Dorito of doom. I just want to say, look at the chart yourselves, guys. When you hear these people pumping out this nonsense, oh, it's narrowing down, it's gonna blow, maybe. But what if it doesn't? Could we look back in time and see any times on the chart where it was narrowing down and then it had a big red candle? Absolutely, we can. So you need to be careful to just at least have me on your shoulder and say, oh, maybe I should go see if what these other folks are telling me, is it a guarantee that just because it's narrowing down into a triangle on low volume that it's going to blow on Friday or Monday? No, I could do 6 videos for you showing you where it was narrowing down on low volume and nothing happened except it went further down. You could look back last year at the low volume days. They went for almost a year. Low volume days went on GameStop for almost a year. And what did the up and to the right people have to do? They had to keep lowering their line. It's embarrassing. Just be careful, guys. If you're doing TA, don't be so narcissistic that you don't allow room for yourself to possibly be wrong or for the market to do something that you don't expect. That's all I'm saying. I'd love for it to go up. And yes, the declining volume, the price is declining, but the volume is also declining. So perhaps the selling is weakening, but it could also trade flat for a long time with this low volume. The best thing that I can tell you to really kick this thing off is some news. News from GameStop, news from Ryan, news from Roaring Kitty. That would light this thing up. I have little doubt about it. And when that happens, if that happens, make sure you think in the back of your mind, I probably ought to be taking some profits. I don't want to miss the third damn run on GameStop. Doesn't mean you need to sell everything at $30 or 40. You get to decide what your risk tolerance is. When it ran up to 60 in May, I sold about half of mine up here at $60. And I said I left half in case it kept running. I don't remember the exact percentage, but it was roughly half of my position. And then I woke up, and what happened? Ryan had said he was going to freaking dilute. I was like, son of a fucking bitch. Then I was very thankful that I had sold half. That's always the dilemma, right? Do you sell half, and then if it runs up, you're going to be regretful. But what if they have some bad news, or the shorts come in, or it gets halted, or they dilute? You got to decide what's your risk tolerance. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I just tell you how I do it. I sold roughly half, and then as soon as I saw that dilution news in the morning, it was already down $17. I immediately, as fast as I could sell it, it was dropping. I dumped the rest at 43. I had been buying it down here at $29, so that was still a decent trade. Mediocre, can we hear you now? No, still can't hear him.
No, this is it's up. No, it's up.
Now I can hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Yeah, just bring the mic a little closer.
I thought you couldn't hear me. I thought the whole mic wasn't working at all.
All right. Mediocre, do you have any, I mean, you probably heard what I was talking about there. Do you have any other like common sense trading advice you want to give folks on trading these type of meme stock plays? I mean, we've been doing this now, looking at these stocks and understanding how they trade and how people think for 3 years now.
I mean, to be honest, Tony, I think that people need to seriously take into account what's going on with all the financial statements and stuff, right? They really need to pay attention to what the company is saying. In AMC's case, look at the box office, try to figure out how much the box office is going to earn in a quarter, all that kind of stuff. As far as GameStop, or other meme stocks, you got to look in and see like what's the revenue, like are they going to make profit based off of their revenue? Like that's important, right? Or if not, what happens? What tends to happen is the stock price keeps falling down. But with that said, there's always buying opportunities in there, right? You and I know that. We take advantage of them all the time. But to know, like, okay, at this level, somebody's going to want to pick it up and push the price up, even if it's, they want to say short sellers or whatever are backing out just they push it down to a certain point. They're not going to overdo it where they can't protect themselves. So they back off, allow the price to come back up, and then they do it again. And as long as you can, I'm not telling you guys like that happens every time, but if you pay attention enough, you'll see exactly what we're talking about. Like it's obvious on the chart what goes on. Like stocks just don't trade flat, guys. They move every day, and you have to go with the flow. What's the thing I like to say all the time, Tony?
Up and to the right.
That's not me. Wrong guy.
That's not you. Wrong guy.
No, be the barnacle on the
Oh,
whale.
yeah. Sorry, mediocre. I didn't mean to throw you in that barrel. GameStop's a very volatile stock. I think the beta, which is your measure of volatility relative to the index on GameStop, is about 1.4, if I'm not mistaken. Tesla's a little bit higher volatility. I think it's around 1.6. I don't recall off the top of my head what AMC is, but these volatile stocks, if you have a reasonable perspective on trading them, you can make a lot of money on them. I don't recommend yellowing call options on these, although a lot of people do. And if you want to do that, that's fine with me. I'm not here to talk you out of it. We're usually more sellers of options, so we have theta working in our favor. But right now, just in case you're confused, because I put that song out today. I like to edit videos, guys. Mediocre and I have been cracking up making some songs for the past 2 days. We got a whole treasure trove of songs. How mediocre?
That's right. If you're one of our haters, I'd watch your step. It's fair warning.
I just want to clarify. I have no position in GameStop. So for all the boob heads who say I'm pumping GameStop, I have no position in GameStop. I have no ownership. I have no options. You can see my last sale was on 9/24. And if you've been watching me on any regular basis on the TA video updates on the weekend, I've been telling y'all since 9/24 that I'm waiting for it to come back down into this buy zone. So for anybody who's saying I'm pumping GameStop, take a hike.
Yeah,
we're having fun. We're cracking ourselves up.
I also don't own any GameStop, to be clear.
I probably will buy some GameStop if it comes back down. But if my video really got Ryan Cohen excited, mediocre, I don't know if it'll get back down to where I want it to. We're right inside this buy zone. We closed today. I have the top of this demand zone at 2068. My preferred buy-in, for the past few months has been between 19 and 1950, and then sell into these run-ups. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna go climb the top of a mountain with my laptop and look at this chart and meditate and see what price I come up with this weekend for next Friday's close. But I spend some time looking at a lot of different things before I do my TA videos. You guys know how I roll. I'm not just going live, no edits, no cuts, and saying whatever diarrhea comes out of my mouth. I actually put some thought into the videos that I put out.
So Anya, be the barnacle on the whale means follow the big freaking money, baby.
If you can, what mediocre is trying to say is if you can understand how Wall Street is looking at the play, you can probably ride with them. They have way more money than we do. And so he's not saying short GameStop. I mean, some people do. I don't short stocks. Yeah, mediocre. Do you short stocks?
No.
We don't short stocks. So what I will typically do is just try and figure out where's this thing likely headed, where I could buy in at a reasonably cheap price, relatively risk-free. And then I try and get my entry and wait for the push back up.
It's been a few weeks since I've even sold any options, you guys. I've been just sitting and relaxing. I see people getting all worried and nervous, and You know, I it broke my support level. I already talked about this, and it made me scratch my head. And Tony was looking into it, and Rolf was looking into it, and we all were like, we need to figure out, like, are we missing something? But I came to the conclusion I don't think we're missing anything. I think it is what it is, and I'm just gonna wait it out. I'm happy, comfortable where I'm at. I'm not concerned, and if things get rocky, I'll deal with it.
Jimmy, I'm going to let you take this one first, mediocre, and then I've got a couple things I want to say. Jimmy, I'm guessing Jimmy is a fan of Richard Newton. He says y'all should take a look into naked shorting and historical FTDs. I fear you're not taking these into account, or ETF swaps. Mediocre, just give us your general. Guys, if you think that we don't know about this stuff or we're not aware of it, we've been living this every day with you, every fucking day. Mediocre, how many hours a day are we sitting here talking about these meme stocks?
Oh God, I don't know, 16 maybe.
12, 16 hours a day.
Time.
There's literally, you're not going to find somebody who has not uncovered every stone and looked at everything. I mean, you might find some, but we're literally here 6-7 days a week looking into everything on this stuff. So yes, we are aware of it, Jimmy. Mediocre, what's your thoughts? I'll let you go first.
My thought, well, we'll just hypothetically, we'll say that his statement is true. Okay.
Okay.
Just for the sake of this argument, we'll say that Jimmy here, his statement is true. We've been doing this for what, 3.5 years, Tony? 3 years, okay? What has changed in that 3 years?
Stocks have only gone down.
I mean, have we won?
No.
Okay. So why would I keep wanting to put my money on the line when there's no guarantee any of this is going to happen?
Mediocre, what about those of us that shifted our strategy like I did 2 years ago on GameStop to volatility swing trading?
Right. There's a lot of volatility in these stocks. It's true, right? We make a lot of money doing what we do. There's no doubt about it.
We're just talking, guys, about we are aware of everything that you have seen and everything that you're told. I switched my strategy on GameStop around the time that they did the 4-for-1 split, and I switched my strategy for AMC around the time that they did the reverse split conversion. Because why? Because we knew that combined with that, the company was going to announce and do dilution. The reverse split conversion was not the evil thing. It wasn't evil. It wasn't illegal. But we knew that the reason they were doing it is because they needed to raise money. They were running into the risk of bankruptcy in 2023. They were running out of cash. They were running out of runway. They were quarters away if they had not done AMC Ape. So I had to shift my plan with AMC, knowing that they were going to dilute, to get out of the way, allow them to dilute, come back in when people overreacted because they were emotional, got back in around a couple bucks. And then, we've been swing trading AMC since then because we know they're diluting, but we also know things are improving, and it's a fascinating and exciting and fun play.
Right.
Both of them for different reasons, AMC and GameStop. They're still speculative, both of them.
I'm not trying to, upset anybody or anything, but back to Jimmy's thing. Let's say hypothetically what Jimmy is saying is true. My next question is what has the SEC done to help retail investors in any of this stuff that is up in this comment right here?
Yeah. As far as the FTDs, the failures to deliver, Jimmy, hopefully you watched my video a couple days ago about the very important changes that Chart Exchange did on clarifying for you guys and showing you when FTDs get resolved. there's a lot of people giving you guys bad information about failures to deliver, that they're not resolved. The freaking BBBY people right now talking about the Chewy, the 9 million fails that happened on September 20th. And they were telling everyone that the 25th of October is the day T plus 35. And I mean, I can see the data. I've posted it to them many times. Those FTDs, those 9 million FTDs mediocre, got resolved the next trading day.
Yeah.
It's right there on Chart Exchange. Everybody can see it. And I post it and they just grift right over it. I mean, walk right over it, ignore it. Like, I've never seen a group of investors so willing to ignore facts and things that are in black and white as the Bed Bath & Beyond people. And it makes me feel bad for the GameStop people that all of them have come into GameStop, because now they're kind of polluting the GameStop DD with all of this willful ignoring of facts and data. And that doesn't mean I hate the Bed Bath & Beyond people. They're just a very fringe element of creative DD. Creative DD means, like, I saw the data, I'm going to ignore it and make up my own theory. I mean, if that's what floats your boat, go ahead. But did anything happen with Chewy today? Not a damn thing. So what are they saying now? Just wait 6 more days.
Yeah. So Tony, that's the other thing, right?
6 more days, mediocre.
The SEC hasn't done anything, right? And no real rules have been changed in the market. And how do you change rules in the market? Who's it up to, Tony? Tell them.
Well, the SEC can propose rules, and then, it goes through that long process. But if you're wanting, if you're talking about real change to be driven, it's got to come from Congress.
So, I mean, that's where we're at. Do you want to keep piling money into a play that maybe you get the short squeeze you're looking for, or protect your profits? Because I want to live to trade another day. That's my goal, right? Like, I'm
preserve that capital, mediocre.
So I'm careful with what I do with my money.
Mediocre, can you win if you lose 90% of your money?
No, how are you going to win?
Exactly.
90% of my money is a lot of money, Tony.
I know.
You're trying to lose it.
There comes a point where I'm like, and I'm going to tell y'all in a few minutes another ticker, one that I don't talk about, because I don't talk about most of my trades here. I post them in the Discord, but I pulled the plug on a ticker today. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. I see some of y'all in the chat asking about IMAX and HE. Well, let's put those up real quick. I do own IMAX. I own another theater company called Marcus. The ticker is MCS. I'm up about 40% on both of those. I have a far larger combined position on IMAX and Marcus than I do on AMC. Why? Why would you think that I might, mediocre?
Because they have profitable quarters.
They're profitable. They have earnings that we can calculate a price target off of. They have positive earnings, and they have published forecasts for increased positive earnings. So I bought IMAX back in June at $15.20 and $14.99. I didn't get the bottom, mediocre. The bottom was $14.94. I got in at $14.99. And it's been, when I bought it, I made a note to myself that within 12 months, I'd like to see this stock hit $21. And we hit $21 2 months later. Beautiful. So I'm still holding. I think there's nothing but good news for the movie industry as far as I can tell right now, based on what we know about 2025 and 2026. We'll get an update from IMAX and Cinemark at the end of this month. I'll be covering their earnings calls live if you want to listen in. And then AMC will be the first week in November. So generally, I'm very bullish on the industry. AMC is the speculative trade in the industry. IMAX is a very solid play. And you're asking, and I'm asking myself, why are you not selling if it hit your price target? Because I think there's better things to come, and there's little risk to holding IMAX. I have market risk. You know what that is, mediocre?
You have market risk.
Yeah, I don't think there's company risk.
Yeah, market risk is just if the overall market comes down, it brings all the other stocks down. For whatever reason, whether it's a war or something like that.
But if there's, if the market comes down, everything is coming down,
Exactly.
including GameStop, including AMC. I don't care what these guys tell you. GameStop is not the flight to safety. It's going to be eviscerated just like everything else. Everything is going to come down if the market crashes due to a war or something like that.
Which we also track, Tony, don't we?
Well, we try to.
Mm-hmm.
So someone was asking in the chat, can you do TA on IMAX? I mean, I don't have to watch IMAX daily or weekly. I barely even log into my account to check my stocks because all of them are 1 to 5 year plays. That's the beauty of picking profitable companies, is you can sleep at night and you don't got to babysit these things. So I know my long-term outlook on the industry. I know IMAX is a solid, profitable company with fantastic growth already disclosed by management. And my main risk is market risk as I see it right now. So I'm not even, it would be, if I was drawing supply and demand zones, I drew this green line because this would be a supply zone. And you can see there's been a little sell in here, mediocre, right?
Yeah.
As we would expect. It's hit this point 3 times. Hits the supply zone, sells off, back up, sells off, back up. If I was going to draw a supply zone, you'd have a red box right up here going back to this last high.
Absolutely.
That's how I would draw it. Other things, but I'm not selling because I know that the industry growth is going to be more than where we're at right now.
So Tony, what happens with your resistance level there? If
It become, well, yeah, we're going to draw a new support level right here. Is that where you're angling at? Right?
my question, hang on. If what would happen if
if we break through it?
No. If the company had more profitable quarter in the future and we were heading towards that line, what would happen? We'd probably break through it, right?
Yes, we would break through it, which would probably kick off an even more bullish cycle and a faster push up in price.
And then we would end up with a new resistance level up top somewhere.
Yeah. So I'm expecting IMAX to move up here over the next 12 to 24 months.
That's what I was getting at.
And just looking at the 50 and the 200, the moving averages, it's trading above both. It did drop back down to the 50 EMA right here. That's this yellow line. But I'm not trying to do daily TA on IMAX because I have a long-term outlook on the industry.
Yeah, I mean, they're pumping out. I mean, what's AMC going to buy off of them as far as IMAX?
There's a massive amount of great IMAX movies coming out over the next 2 years, mediocre. And they have I think their largest slate of movies being filmed on IMAX, which is equipment rentals, their largest slate ever in 2025. Do you know that box office admissions is only about 1/3 of their revenue stream?
Yeah.
For IMAX? For them, it's about renting out equipment to film the movies and then processing the films and then, the licensing agreement to all the theaters around the world, not just United States and UK like AMC or United States and Latin America like Cinemark, around the world, including China, which is a huge market.
And who's going to
So
have the most IMAX theaters in the United States, Tony?
who is the largest?
Yeah,
AMC, baby.
and they're going to get more, aren't they? It's part of
Yeah.
their deal. Their was it capex?
Yeah, One Stop says looks like there will be a little selling pressure until we shake these sellers here. I agree with you. It's going to bobble around here, and we'll just see what happens when they release earnings, and hopefully no whammies, no bad news out of the earnings. But I don't know what bad news they could have. So their financials are in good shape, and they have published nothing but positive outlooks over the last couple quarters. Someone was asking about Hawaii Electric. This is one of our speculative trades that we have been playing this year. We were getting in as it was coming down. I had this green line at $10, so we were buying in June as it went down to 7 and change, and then it popped up to 18. This is that electric company that is being blamed for the fires in Hawaii. Very speculative play, because they are being sued. If they were to lose a lawsuit, you could get wiped to zero on this play. So I don't talk about it much other than in the Discord. I don't talk about it on YouTube. It's not on my recommended list. This is pure gambling, but we do like it for entries under $10. I got alerts when it went from 10 to 9, but that's an alert for me to watch it. I'm not ready to buy at $9.
Yeah.
That's just to manage my risk. It could go from 9 to 18. It could go from 9 to 30 if there were good news to come out tomorrow, like what happened here. This was a news spike. It went from $7 to 18.
We all went over that news, didn't we, Tony?
We did. Yeah.
Anya was part of that too.
Anya made bank, I think. Hopefully you sold, Anya. But yeah, I mean, if it gets around $7 or $8, if there's no bad news driving it, if it's just the market grinding it down, if it got down to that range, I might play it again mediocre. What do you think? Under $9 maybe?
Yeah, I'm waiting. I think 970 is where my alert goes off. I'm just kind of waiting.
So that's what we're thinking about it. We look at this one, once every couple weeks, or when our alerts go off. It's not one we're anxious to jump back in, but if the right opportunity presented itself for kind of a speculative play, this is, just to be clear, you're going to lose all your money if they lose the lawsuit, or if they get a pass on the lawsuit. This thing could run back up to $38.
Mm-hmm.
So that's roll the dice, guys. I don't make videos about this one for a reason, because I can't tell you what's going to happen in the court.
Yeah, exactly.
But we enjoy these. I don't put a ton of money on them.
Yeah,
It's just for fun,
opinion, right? Of what, if they should be held liable or not, but you never know what the court's going to decide.
Anya says, I sold. All right, Anya. Another ticker that I own, and I saw someone asking about in the chat. What was that? Monster MNST. Let's see how it is doing. Let me know in the chat if you were the one that asked about this one. He said that I think he said he sold some call options. I don't have my buy-in price on here. Anya, if you have a second, well, I'll just log in. Mediocre. Tell us what you see on the chart here. Well, I'm going to log in. I forgot what I bought in on Monster.
I mean, it looks like it's starting to trend up, Tony. What's the purple line?
That is the 200 EMA.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's trending up. And if that's a 50, the yellow?
The 50 is the yellow, yes, sir.
So if you get the 50 crossing the 200, you know what they call that, Tony?
They call that the
Golden cross, baby.
yeah, and the other one is the death cross when it's going the other way.
And when it's going the other way, it's the death cross.
Yeah.
So I mean that looking, it's looking bullish, but I don't know I don't know anything about this company other than we're just looking at a chart here.
I haven't made videos about it because it's not the perfect setup, mediocre. But I'm looking up my shares here. I got in, and I post these in the Discord, by the way. But I bought at $48 on June 14th, and I added at $44.87 in August. So 44.87. I didn't quite get the bottom, mediocre. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I got 44.87 and it went down to 43.42. So basically my entry was right about here on this sick dip. You know, one of the best things I'm looking for is relatively or very good companies that have a sick dip. Some of them you got to avoid when they have a sick dip. Others, if you spend time looking at them, you can do your own DD and ask yourself, can they recover from this?
Tony, I would just say that the chart's kind of looking like it's moving up and to the right.
Up and to the right. Yeah. So I'm up. I'm not up a huge amount on this one, but I'm up.
Sorry, sometimes.
I'm up 11.4%. So, I mean, that's not too bad for a couple months. And the idea, mediocre, is that we at some point get back up here in the $57 to $60 range. I don't know. It's a small play for me.
I mean, it looks like it's heading that way. I don't know.
It's heading the right direction, but I need to go in before their next earnings and see what I think. And it's coming up. It's coming up here in a week.
Yeah.
This is the Monster Beverage Company, M&ST. And you know how I came across this play, mediocre?
No, I don't. How'd you
know,
do it?
you know, my youngest son, I have two boys. One just graduated with his PhD in psychology. So we have another doctor in the family. The youngest son is getting his master's in, what is it? I think it's master's in professional accounting. So he's doing a 5-year program to get his bachelor's and master's. And he will be going to work in the industry, which was a choice I made not to do. I never went to go work in the industry, but he will. He's already done 2 or 3 internships. He had to do a project this summer, and he said, "Dad, I'm looking at Monster. What do you think?" And so I did some DD along with him. He had to do a project for his internship, I think, or maybe it was for a class. And I looked at it. I was like, yeah, I'll ride with you. I'll ride with you on that. And then I took him to lunch after I looked into it, mediocre, not just because he mentioned it.
Yep.
I took him to lunch for his birthday a couple of weeks ago. And I said, "Hey, have you been watching Monster?" He's like, "Yeah, I decided not to buy it."
What?
I was like, why didn't you tell me? Anyways, I didn't know he had not bought it or he sold, whatever. But it's been doing what I needed it to do, mediocre, and it's looking good. So I'm still riding it. Let's talk about the one that I got out of this week. Boeing.
I remember we talked about this.
Yeah, I have bought a little bit of Boeing at 177 after this big rundown from 264, thinking that I was going to be cute and grab the dip here, mediocre. And I did for a while. It was looking good, right? It went from 177 up to 196. I was like, yeah.
What happened, Tony?
This company can't stop having bad news, mediocre. Another bad news day. Boom. Another bad news day. Boom. I added a little more at 167, and they just keep on having bad news, and they got strikes. And now the final straw for me is they just filed dilution for $25 billion. I was like, that's it. I've lost about 10% on this play. You don't always get them right. Don't ever, guys, expect that you're going to get all of them right. But when you see that it's not going your way, what do we say, mediocre?
You gotta exit, save your capital so you can
have an exit strategy. Exactly. I'm not going to ride this one down into the dirt. I know when I'm down 10%, I know it's not working out. And if I still like the company, I can wait a few days, a few weeks, a few months and see what happens and come back to it. I've already done the DD on the company. They're getting hammered by bad news.
What was it? $25 billion they're going to dilute?
Yes.
How many shares? You guys could do some math and kind of figure out roughly how many shares they need to
It
dilute.
was a mixed shelf offering, mediocre. So they had the whole 7 different equities, like common, preferred, units, warrants. You know how they do.
Yeah.
It's, again, if you're a BBBY investor and you get excited about the word units, it's just, these are very common when companies file a mixed shelf. They do it for expedience and cost savings. It's much cheaper and easier to do one filing, cover all the 7 securities types. Doesn't mean you're getting units on Bed Bath & Beyond or GameStop. Did you know AMC has a mixed shelf offering, mediocre?
I did not know that one.
Yeah. Do you hear us talking about units? No, because that is nonsense. Could they? Yeah, they could do anything, but typically they just file a mixed shelf to give themselves flexibility, and then they'll either issue debt under it or they'll issue common, typically. So that's the one play I got out of this week, mediocre Boeing, and I say good riddance. You were a rough ride, and I wasn't enjoying it. And guess what? Fresh capital, ready to plow into my next speculative stock, or if I find a better profitable stock. Don't let your money get bled out. Find something where you're making money. Find a better prospect.
Tell everybody what happened to our T-Mobile play.
Oh God. Oh, TMUS. What was it, about a year ago that we were looking at that one, mediocre, because Congress was buying it?
Oh God, that pisses me off.
Look at this shit.
And we're like, man, it's got to pull back, right?
Mediocre. We were looking at this stock look where I drew the chart.
Oh,
it was in June of 2023. It was at $128. It's up $100. Now, guys, to be fair, we did buy some. I don't have my price on here. We were buying it here. Do you remember, mediocre? Oh, wait, look. I do have a buy here. I do. Hang on. Let me unlock it. What did I buy? 131, mediocre.
Oh, God.
Every now and then we find some good stocks, mediocre. But we don't know what we're doing, they say.
But we don't always capitalize either, though, to be fair, right? Like,
yeah, tell the rest of the story, because this is the funny part.
we just, it was expensive and we thought there'd be a pullback and we were going to wait it out. And I never looked at it again. I told
Wait, did you buy some back then?
I didn't buy it because I was.
Oh, you didn't buy it?
I didn't buy it. No.
Oh.
I did not buy it. I think Anya bought it. I told Anya about it too. Oh.
Oh my gosh.
What a kick in the stones, huh?
Guys, I wish more people watch this channel. I'd love to make more videos and talk about stocks like this that are actually good. But when I make videos on value plays or blue chip stocks, none of y'all watch them. So, would you be upset if you bought a stock for 130 and it ran to 230? Should I spend 2 days doing the DD and putting a video together to tell you why I'm buying a stock and then 100 people watch it?
I like doing what I've been doing though, Tony. That's part of the problem, right?
Huh?
I like doing, you know me. I like to have my money in my account every week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. All right, let's put up Sufyan's comment, and I'm going to grab a beer refill, mediocre. So let's let you take that one, and I'll be right back, but I'm going to put the AMC chart up, and we'll move into talking about AMC. Let me turn off this volume price.
So from what I can understand in this comment here, predicts the end of AMC, like bankruptcy. Is that what we're getting at here? No, I'm thinking that's what you're talking about, but I don't see it. I don't see that at all. I mean, the box office is coming back. I mean, this quarter, I was a little nervous about this quarter, thinking that this quarter Q4 may be a little light on the box office, but I don't think that's going to be the case. It's probably going to end up profitable. Q3, I'm pretty confident is profitable. We got 2 weeks before that earnings call, and then Q1 we're still waiting. They're still adding movies to Q1, so we can't really predict Q1 of 2025 yet. So, I mean, I don't know. How could you? I think I heard something about $2 from this gentleman. I don't know him.
They're saying in the chat $1.60 is what he's predicted, mediocre.
I think he needs to roll another joint. I mean, what do you want me to say to that?
All right. Let's run through some DD and let's talk about Nick for a second. I don't want to talk about another Paisan.
Yeah, exactly.
He's Italian. I don't want to throw him under the bus. He seems like a very fun guy to hang out with. I'm sure he and I would get along fine. Nick, if you're watching this, I check in on him from time to time. I follow him on Twitter, but I don't agree with a lot of what he says. And that's fine. I don't agree with a lot of what most people say. Except mediocre.
I mean, I'm just gonna say, I don't really know the guy, but I don't think that price target's very accurate.
Here's my thinking, mediocre. Nick thinks that Adam Aaron is working against the company because he's raising cash. And I've never heard Nick talk about the financials one time. Not one time that I recall.
But I understand that people are upset that Adam Aaron is raising cash. I totally understand where you're coming from. Like, I don't want him taking my cash, right, to pay the debt. But that's what he's doing. He's taking your cash, people, to pay the debt.
You mean he's selling new shares to new investors or to old investors that are rebuying, buying more, right?
Right, but he's taking the value away from what you already own to sell to someone else.
But they've been very clear,
right,
since 2020 in every single 10Q, every single investor meeting, that cash is king, the balance sheets is a wreck, the risk factors have been in every 10Q since before you guys got into play, which is why I tell y'all to read them, since 2020. Yeah, that they were going to dilute, that they could issue preferred shares, i.e. APE, and that that you were probably going to be diluted and you could severely lose money if that happens.
Tony,
all of that's written down in black and white from the company to you every 3 months. So Nick, or all the Popcorn Project people who say Adam did something illegal, what do you want him to do? File Chapter 11? He disclosed exactly what was going to happen, and then they did it. It's up to us to read.
That's right. And that's why I read now. I don't care. I surround myself with good people, and we work through stuff, right? I'm happy to talk about it, but I'm not in this on hopes and dreams. I'm in this to make sure I don't lose my money and profit on the money that I put into the market. That's my goal, you know.
We
And that's
didn't pay a lot of attention to that stuff in 2021 mediocre because the short interest was high and retail sentiment was strong and we didn't think it was critical. And the company had almost 2 billion in cash. Remember
that.
those good old days?
Yeah, I thought there was a chance we could win. You
Yeah.
know,
So we didn't talk a lot about the financials or the risks in 2021 because things were very different. But then things changed.
right? It wasn't until the court documents came out.
Not even before that. I mean, when they started running low on cash and they had to do ape and they
Right.
started saying this is going to be a currency, better start paying attention.
Right, I agree. But, it wasn't until, for me anyways, it wasn't until, you know, I seen what was going on in the courts when I read the plaintiff's brief and the defendant's brief that a lot of people ignored, Tony.
They're still ignoring it, mediocre.
Why? I mean, it's in
I
black
mean,
and white.
there's very few people that read the financial statements. I only know a handful out of thousands of people I talk to every week. I see the most common thing I see on AMC is why are Cinemark and IMAX going up and AMC is not? What could be a couple possible reasons?
Because they have
Crime,
trouble.
conspiracy, naked shorts. No. How about, I mean, that might be happening, probably is, but the main reason is the company doesn't have positive earnings and Cinemark and IMAX do. So it's very easy for Wall Street to figure out a value for Cinemark and IMAX. And when we know the box office is going to go up and these companies tell us their earnings and revenue are going to go up, more importantly, their earnings is easy math.
And that's
Easy
why we
math
talk
to do
about the
a
box office, right,
price
Tony?
to earnings, price to earnings. That's why they're going up. What is AIM? How much is the earnings for AMC, mediocre?
We don't have any.
It's negative. How do you do a price valuation on a negative number? You can't.
Yeah, we don't have profits.
So just be patient. I'm not telling you to not sell your stock. This is not trading advice. I'm just saying if you don't understand what's happening on the price, Wall Street can't value the stock when there's no positive earnings. We're trading on expectations of the future. That's what this price right here is right now.
And to be fair and clear, I want to say, like, I think Q3 is going to be profitable in this next earnings call.
I'm almost certain Q3 will be profitable.
Right. So when I say they don't have profits, I'm talking prior
We're
to.
talking recent past 3 years mediocre.
Right. So,
And one quarter doesn't cut it. Like I know we had a profitable quarter or two last year, but you got to have positive earnings for the year as a total. Like if you want to think like a Wall Street guy, that's what they're looking at. One quarter that we'll probably have another dance party mediocre if AMC has positive earnings in Q3.
mm-hmm.
And if box office beats my expectation in Q4, we'll do another one. We'll drink some more champagne. But you've got to have expectations of nothing but positive earnings, a positive year. Then you'll start being able to do some real price to earnings valuation on AMC. And then possibly you can get analysts starting to say, oh, this could be an $8 stock, a $12 stock, a $20 stock, depending on what the expectations are for earnings per share. And I'm using, when I'm throwing out those numbers, I'm using like a industry normal PE ratio, like a 25, PE of 25. I'm not talking any momentary run-ups, be it FOMO or short squeeze. I'm just talking about what would be a normal valuation. I can do the math very easy if you tell me what earnings are you expecting positive for next year or 2026. I can tell you exactly what the stock will be valued at. And then, then we get the fun part of volatility trading still, quite likely. I didn't realize we weren't on the screen, Mediocre.
No, yeah, we were looking at the chart. I used that time to text message my wife while you were chatting. I told the wife, I love you.
Aw.
Yeah.
So to wrap up what I think about Nick, I'm just going to say, I've seen a lot of these. And again, Nick, no disrespect, man. You seem like a nice dude. Probably know way more about Wall Street than I do, if you did indeed work on Wall Street, because I never did. But I've seen a lot of people on YouTube come and go talking about algos, Mediocre, and repeating patterns. Everything's pre-programmed. And they all have things in common that I've noticed. This is not me slamming Nick. This is just a general observation. All of these people over the last 3 years, without exception, have tried to pick patterns from the past and say, this is pre-programmed. It's going to repeat. It could be stretched. It could be flipped. It could be reversed. And if I'm wrong, then they change the algo.
Where are they now, Tony?
They're all gone. Every single one of those people is gone. Every single one of them's gone. Nick is the latest in that version of YouTuber. And I respect that he gives very brutal advice. Like, he's not a hopium pusher. I respect that. But I also think that he's too negative on some things, like saying Adam Aaron is working against the company. Adam and Sean, from what I've seen, are trying to avoid Chapter 11. It's up to us to read the filings and the balance sheet and the cash flow statement and the income statement to anticipate when the next dilution might be. And then you can decide to stay in, step out for a few days, whatever it may be. The company's going to do what they need to do to survive. You can sit back and take it, or you can actively manage your trades. So what's going to make AMC drop to $1.60? It would have to be a COVID type event, a war, a whole market crash. Yeah. Company specific. I mean, they've only got 100 million shares left to dilute with. So it'd have to be, that's not going to drop the price to $1.60. It'd have to be like a 1-2 gut punch. Like, we're going to burn 100 million shares at $4 and announce a reverse split. That might drop it to $1.60. What do you think, Mediocre?
I mean, that it would only happen if they ran out of cash. If they had,
right. I mean, I while I can't exclude that sort of event from happening, I think it's low probability at this moment. I don't think they're not just going to dump 100 million shares when they have nearly 800 million in cash. They just refinance and push out the debt. They're probably going to have a profitable quarter in Q3, quite likely in Q4, probably several of the quarters next year. We're going to watch each one by one, and I'll let you know if I think there's liquidity issues, because if there are, I will step out of the play if I'm worried they're going to dilute. And maybe I'll miss it. Maybe I'll be wrong. That is the risk in a speculative play. But I think that it seems to be low risk of a massive cash grab. And Mediocre. Remember that other wording that we found in the documents?
Yeah, I do.
AMC has a cash cap of 800 million. So why would they dump 100 million shares?
Well, that's what I was trying to say. They can't. They're not going to.
If they have more than 800 million on the balance sheet, according to the loan documents I read, and go fact check me from the July loan documents, if they have over 800 million in cash, they have to give that cash over to the lenders to pay down the debt.
Exactly. So they can only hold $800 million on the balance sheet.
So there's little incentive to do a $400 million cash raise.
Right.
Because what? Unless, maybe mediocre. Let's put our worst case hat on.
Yeah.
Worst case, something bad goes down with the court case that's going on with that 800 million on the debt,
Mm-hmm.
and they need to come up with some cash in a flash.
Right, because the judge is going to make them pay it down.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
1% probability. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but that's not something I spend any time worrying about. I do like to think about all possibilities, and having that legal case out there is definitely a risk.
I
But
agree.
for me right now, it's a low probability risk.
I mean, we talk about it all the time, but that's why we constantly look at the box office. Tony, in my opinion, Tony's got one of the best spreadsheets out there for looking at the box office. You know, you gotta know what's coming into the theaters and put the numbers together and see what the companies are gonna to bring in. Or the companies, the movies are gonna bring in each movie, right? Kind of figure out what the expectations are of the movie, and when you compile all that information, you can kind of see where the income is going to be. How much revenue are they going to generate from that? That is what's important to me right now, right? Because if they can't generate enough revenue to cover what they're spending to keep the $800 million in the balance sheet, then that's not good. That could mean we're heading to more dilution.
Yeah, the other thing, mediocre, is like if we're just completely wrong on my spreadsheet, even though we have 2 quarters from last year where we had similar box office from the one we just finished in Q3, and both of those were positive quarters, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's just say I'm completely wrong. AMC screwed the pooch, and they lose money this quarter and burn hundreds of millions of cash. That might be you might see a dilution event follow. But based on my spreadsheet, which I've been doing for a long time now, I don't see that happening. Forecasting, I'm forecasting a positive earnings for Q3. Do your own DD. I share it with you in detail so you can cross-check me and do your own analysis.
What's the market cap, Tony? Because I haven't done a market cap on it in a minute because whatever.
1.5 billion. I mean, you're talking mediocre. If we went down to $1.70, you're talking like under $500,000,
Exactly.
under $500 million market cap.
Yeah, and it's been trading.
To be a market cap under their cash.
Yeah, and it's been roughly trying to hover around 1.8. So
I mean, I know, again, Nick, no disrespect, but I know there are people that think Nick is paid to reel people in and then push out misinformation, bad information. I don't know that to be true, but seems an awfully pessimistic view if you're actually paying attention to the box office, the revenues, the profit and loss, and the cash position of the company. Man, you'd have to have some horrible news, horrible unexpected news to have AMC trade down to $1.70. I don't see it. And if he's right, I will give him all the props in the world, but I don't see it.
well, absolutely. I just, it is what it is. It's been staying right roughly around 1.8, and I even went back before 2019 to see what it was trading at before this whole thing as far as market cap goes, and it was basically around a 2 billion market cap, somewhere in that range, consistently.
I wanted to address Matt's comment. Thank you, Matt. He says, what is AMC's fair value right now? It's hard to give a good fair value for AMC. I was waiting for one of the GameStop people to ask this, Matt. Are you a GameStop investor? AMC has, if we look back, negative earnings. So I can't do a price to earnings analysis like I can on GameStop or any other profitable company. And then what do we look at? We look at the balance sheet next. It's upside down on the balance sheet. They have more liabilities than they do assets. So the company is functionally insolvent. That's today. The price that you see on the screen there, 432, is what people are willing to pay right now for anticipated future earnings, keeping in mind the risk of future dilution to continue to repair the balance sheet. That's all I can tell you about AMC. It's a speculative play. There's no way to value it other than, are you bullish or bearish on their prospects going forward? When they start clocking positive earnings, I can give you a true valuation. The reason I say it's speculative is I can't tell you a price. I can only tell you what I think box office is going to be in 2025. I can tell you what I think box office is going to be in 2026. I've already run my spreadsheet through the end of 2026, and I know exactly what it will be valued at if I'm correct. It's far higher than this price.
So can I add something to that?
But we're not there right now. We're not there.
So I want to add, like, because right now we got the chart up and it's got your supply and demand zones on it. And I just want to bring up the fact that the reason why we have a demand zone down there at, for $4 to say $4.25, okay? That area is when it gets down there, you notice, well, we tend to notice that whatever's pushing the price down or whoever's pushing the price down, they seem to let off and let it recover. Why? Because they don't want to get caught either. So that's where we get our support and resistance levels from, the supply and demand zones, or however you want to talk about it, right? But we understand that it trades in a range, and we just try to find the range where everybody's happy allowing it to trade, and that's how you don't get caught.
Yeah, and we, I own AMC. You guys can see all my buys here over the last. I've been buying since August. The cheapest shares I own looks like $4.19. I wish I would have got some at $4.03. We understand that it could get pushed below this demand zone. There is still risk. If that happens, we'll evaluate what the news was, if any, that pushed it down. If there's no news, then I don't know about you, mediocre, but if there's no news and it's just being pushed down by lack of buyers or shorts bringing more money to the table that day, I will probably continue buying.
Absolutely.
If there's news that pushes the price down, I might need to reconsider my plan. Just, for a few days or a few weeks, depending on what the news is. Like you can see, speaking of that, remember that dilution in March, mediocre? That was news that pushed the price down. And I actually predicted that they were going to do that. And I got out the day before. I started selling on the 26th and I finished selling on the 27th. And then they announced the news on the 28th. And the price went from 430 down to 230.
And I didn't get out, Tony. Remember, I had to make all that money back up.
Yeah. So if I was worried about dilution, you can already see right here, in August I sold of 2023. I'm telling you, in March I also sold because I was looking at the cash position of the company and the box office. I was like, these fuckers are going to dilute some more. They got to. Not because they hate us, not because they're helping the shorts. They freaking have to. And I started telling the Discord and Mediocre and anyone I could, not YouTube, because, you know, what do I need more death threats?
That was around the Taylor Swift stuff, wasn't it? I believe it was.
Uh,
I
no,
think
Taylor Swift was last year.
I can't remember what
This
time.
this Taylor Swift was the end of last year, but Q1 and Q2 we had the actors and writers strike, and it was just killing box office. And I was like, they're running too low on cash. They're going to feel the need to raise enough cash to get through to the end of this year, and they did exactly that. And so after it dropped, I started buying down here. But that's the preserve your capital. You don't need to sit through a dilution if you know it's coming. We don't always know it's coming. And
We try.
we do our best. I look at this every damn day, or at least every week. But I've already done my calculations for this quarter. The video was posted on October 1st. You can go see what I think. I gave you guys 3 different scenarios. All of them, in my estimate, will be a positive number, probably a positive operating cash flow for AMC. So I'm not expecting bad news. I will be shocked if we have bad news. Could I be wrong? Yeah, I could be. Usually we're really, really close, like within a few $1 million, a tiny margin of error, an acceptable margin of error on forecasting both revenue and net income. All right. Any other questions, Matt? Does that answer your question? I can't give you a fair value analysis. It's a speculative price. As I've said, for all of us, it's a bet on future box office. If you don't think box office is going to allow AMC to be profitable, you should not be in the play, or you should bet against it. I have the opposite belief. I think that everything I'm seeing from AMC's profit and loss, what I understand of it, the spreadsheets I do, and the forecast for the box office is that this company will be profitable. And so I want to have the proper timing to get in and participate in that eventual run up. But timing is still timing until we get there. Baby UFO says, how can we have a strategy for unknown data? It's tough, man. That's why it's speculation. Do you disagree, Mediocre?
No, not at all. Let me get back to my proper screen here too. All right.
Matt says, I'm just a trader. Want to make money. I was in AMC 8, but I learned my lesson and threw away the Kool-Aid. I love that phrase.
That's the way to do it, Matt. I like it.
I finally got my wife to look up who is Jim Jones, Mediocre. She's like, oh my gosh, did this really happen? I was like, yeah. She's like, did they know they were drinking the Kool-Aid? I was like, in that case, they knew they were drinking the Kool-Aid. A lot of what happens in retail trading, social media, is people don't even know they're drinking the Kool-Aid, Mediocre. Yeah. Matt, looks like Matt learned. Congratulations, Matt.
JP, what's up, buddy?
JP says, I'm drunk. I'm trying to catch up to you, JP. I'm only 1 beer in. I'm not actually trying to get drunk. Mediocre, I found that the older I get, and I'm old as dirt, the older I get, the more likely I am to wake up with a headache in the morning after drinking. It didn't used to be that way.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Tony, because I got to be honest with you. We did a video a long time ago on, I can't think of the name of the stuff right now, but you got drunk. We did some alcohol testing. And
Yeah.
We've never completed the video series.
I still have those in the fridge. We need to do that. The next mediocre, remind me the next celebration party that we have, be it positive earnings for AMC or a beat on the box office. Remind me to get the
Oh, it's called Safety Shot.
yeah, remind me to I've got this sitting here to remind myself, but remind me to pull out the safety shot after and do
You
the
got.
testing.
I'll remember.
The problem is it's going to be a long live stream because I've got to drink the drink and then test my blood alcohol for 2 hours as it comes down to see if the safety shot works. And
The
they
chat's gonna hang in there with us, aren't you, chat? You're gonna have to hang in there.
sometimes it is pretty entertaining if I'm in a good mood and I'm drinking. Anyways, Anya says, we know the box office is growing. Yes, Anya. And hopefully you guys watch my video. I feel a little nervous, mediocre. I put out a video last week upping my forecast for Q4 box office. Do you know how nervous it makes me to do that?
Oh, I know. I seen that video. It was a good video. I liked it.
Why? Do you know why I'm nervous?
Yeah, because if some of these movies don't perform well,
Yeah, because I hate to be wrong.
well, that's yeah. We have a lot in common in that aspect, Tony. I
But
hate to be wrong too.
but I'm seeing really, really good numbers come in for pre-sales on a lot of these movies for Q4. And I know that the quarter is starting slow. It's right where I forecast it to be. I'm tracking every movie. I've created my Q4 movie forecast by week. I created it in September. We are exactly where I thought that we would be for October 25th.
There was one movie in there that you were talking about. Um, oh, maybe I'm thinking of a different movie. I don't know. My wife was talking about the one that you were talking about, right?
The red one.
Yeah, the red one. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a few myths like Joker, but we had some outperform like Wild Robot, and then we had all the movies from Q3 that pushed into Q4, still delivering a lot of box office. So net, we're right. Even though box office seems low, I know we're almost a month in, and it's only several $100 million. The real numbers begin around the middle of November.
But there's a movie, guys, that I'm gonna go see. And I don't go to the movies during Christmas time because I just too many people. But anyways, I'm gonna go because I'm gonna go watch that. What was it? Christmas pageant movie? I can't think of the name of the movie exactly, but that movie's funny. And if you know me, if anybody knows me, I love comedy. Like I'll make a joke about anything. People take shit too serious, I think.
Anya says, what did the shot stock ever do? I will cover that in depth, Anya, when we do the safety shot part 2. But the stock itself has not done great after that initial run up. It went to 880 when it came out. It dropped all the way down to 30 cents, Anya. And then it ran up again. Was this? Yeah, this was when we started talking about it, when it was running to 750. It went all the way back down to 59 cents. So I think mediocre, we did the first one at the beginning of this year as it was getting the hype when they were launching. That's all this volume down here. And then it's just been selling off. They did release their study. I'll talk about it at a later point, but it was not as good as I wanted it to be. So the stock never really ran again. And we're sitting at about $1.14 per shot. Mediocre Ayo has a question for you. Oh, mediocre left. Where'd he go? Do you guys not roll with KC Shaw anymore? Did I miss something? Casey Shaw blocked me. I'm just going to be blunt. A lot of the pumpers block me. Hey, yo. Now, before the AMC ape conversion, we had a conversation with KC as well as everybody in our Discord and all of you guys on the channel, letting you all know exactly what was going to happen after the reverse split conversion. And KC did not like our math. He didn't like what we were predicting was going to happen. He did not like that we sold. The company said they were going to dilute. I could not have been more clear that the reverse split conversion was not going to be a squeeze event. I said that many times last year. There was an arbitrage opportunity, and we took advantage of that, and then we got out of the play. Casey didn't like all that, so he blocked me. I'm pretty sure he blocked Mediocre, kicked us out of his Discord. That's all I can say. Mediocre, yeah. Do you want to add anything to that? I don't know if you.
I mean,
did I misstate anything?
No, we had a. I'll just tell you guys. I'm not trying to trash Casey because I really don't care. It's water under the bridge. What I'm just going to tell you, whatever you guys decide to do with your account is your business. It has nothing to do with me. It's your account, right? I'm going to come on here and talk what I want to talk about, just like Tony's going to come on here and talk what he wants to talk about. I will tell you this. There was a meeting in my Discord, and we were all there.
Including KC?
Including Casey. I gave him the information personally. So he had the information. It is what it is.
He had the information when it was $54 that we expected it to drop precipitously?
Absolutely.
And what did he tell you?
He told me he said his words were, that only works for you, Mediocre.
So the math only works for you, but he has a different math.
Yeah, he has a different math, yeah.
That is factually what happened. I will tell you as a second witness to that conversation.
So, I mean, his choice, what he does, whatever. All I wanted him to do was at least give the due diligence to the people, right? And people were angry at that time, extremely angry. And what do? You know, I give Tony credit for being the one to go out and actually give everybody the information, right? Because at that time, there was a lot of hate going on in the community, you know.
Still is Mediocre.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, but a lot of people have since realized what was going on since then, Tony, you know. It's different now than it was then, I think, a little bit anyways. You know, people actually want to learn now, I think. I think people care more, you know, after that.
There's nothing wrong with looking at the balance sheet and the filings from the company. I don't know why, you know, I have half my audience thinks that I'm paid by Adam Aaron, which I'm not. Nobody pays me for anything because I explain filings to you guys in a common sense way and explain to you what management is doing and why to avoid Chapter 11. And then, so half the people think I'm paid by Adam Aaron or AMC. I'm not. The other half think that I'm paid by hedge funds. I'm sure KC is one of them because I read the filings and tell you what the company is going to do. So depending on which end of the conspiracy spectrum you're on, you know, these people on the fringe have very different viewpoints of me. I'm just in the middle, reading to myself what the company is going to do, applying logic and common sense, and then sharing that info with you guys. Now, you guys know, you've seen them. There's the conspiracy people, the Project Popcorn, that have never once factually looked at a balance sheet or a cash flow statement. And if they do, they completely misunderstand it. And then there's the the true believers in AMC, which, hey, I want the company to succeed too, but they also don't look at the balance sheet or the cash flow statement, and they underestimate the effect of dilution. Remember, it was not the reverse split conversion that killed the play. It was everyone knowing that the company was going to dilute right after that.
It was
That's why the price went down.
because the conversion was the dilution. That's what people didn't really understand. Ape had, 550 million more shares than AMC. So Ape was a billion shares. AMC was what, 550 at the time. So when they combined together, there was way more shares of Ape than there was of AMC, which was the dilution to the AMC shareholders.
But they announced cash raises after that, mediocre.
Absolutely, they did another form of dilution, but when they converted, that was dilution. It didn't have nothing to do with the reverse split, which people like to say. But I want to touch on something else, Tony, that you just said. The fact is, what you do, you and I do, and others do in our discords, right? Is we use common sense to get to a point. And the reason why I bring that up is because there's others I see out there that don't use common sense and then they attack us. It's kind of funny.
And have they been correct, mediocre?
No. I mean, I just had a guy who said, if he had $100,000 that he could make 500 a week, and he was bashing my trade on my 100,000 that I made 10 grand or something like that. Doesn't he realize it's about percentage gain?
Apparently not, mediocre.
I mean, we're not even in the same fucking ballpark, bud. I don't know. Anyways, besides that, I don't want to go down that road. But what I'm trying to say, though, is whether you don't want to learn the filings because of AMC, you just want to believe in whatever you want to believe in, that's fine, right? But you could learn fundamentals in technical analysis and how it all works and apply it to another company like, I don't know, NVIDIA, Intel, you name one, AMD, what else you got? You got, Ford, GM, I don't care what the company is, it doesn't matter. This works on all companies, right? So you got to understand what the company is doing with the money they're making. That's what's important. And I wanted to go there.
I want to talk about Matt's comment. He said Coors was telling people there's no reason to buy Ape when it was 60 cents. That was the craziest thing. Now I'm going to give Matt credit for one thing. Like he was bearish on Ape when it was first announced, when we were still pretty bullish on it. And he was initially correct and we were not correct. But what he told people to do, to sell Ape and move their money into AMC, that was not correct, because you weren't going to avoid dilution by moving into AMC. That's apparent to everybody now in retrospect. I told you guys back then when he was saying that you're not going to avoid dilution by moving all of your Ape into AMC. All that did, those people saying that, was they tanked the price of Ape. That's what that message tanked Ape. And people moved their money in AMC and it didn't help. It was never going to help, because as soon as they came back together, they were going to achieve parity through arbitrage.
When they were doing that, when they were moving their money from Ape to AMC, we were moving our money from AMC to Ape.
Well, I mean, at the end we did, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
When Matt was saying don't buy Ape, that's when we were finally, we had done enough reading. We're like, when this conversion happens, Ape is going to go up considerably.
I bought a lot of shares at 60 something cents, 60 and 70.
That was a chance to 4x your fucking money. I mean, what at conversion, they were like two something, right? Mediocre, 240.
Yeah,
I forget.
I don't remember exactly, but
that was a great trade. I don't know why Matt would say that. I mean, I don't think he was thinking through arbitrage, or maybe some people allege he was being paid to push negativity. I don't know. I don't know about any of that. I don't worry about that stuff too much. But it did point out to me, look, I've made my mistakes too, but pointed out to me he didn't really understand what was going to happen with arbitrage and the conversion.
I mean, just look at, Grandpa Barney. Tony was reading the filings when uh, news broke and AMC ran back up and Ape got smacked back down, and Tony didn't even get done reading the filing, and I was buying, and Grandpa Barney was buying 60 something cents, 70 cents. We were getting in. I appreciate that, Tony, by the way. That's one of my favorite stories to tell.
I don't know how many more days or hours we could have spent, Mediocre, telling people that when the conversion was approved by the court, which we were 99% sure it was going to be approved, that Ape would go up and AMC would come down. And that is exactly what happened. So I'm never going to apologize for that year of DD and live streams that we put out.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean,
there was nothing illegal. The attorneys approved it. The SEC approved it. The NYSE approved it. The court approved it. It was disclosed 3 years in advance on every 10Q exactly what was going to happen. And people got their panties in a wad because they listened to people like Al. I mean, among many, that just they had a bad call. That's all right, Everybody makes bad calls. I could have been wrong, but I was pretty sure we were not going to be wrong. I played my DD. Other people played theirs. You roll your dice, you live with the result. Don't blame me.
I mean, I love their price targets, Tony. I'm not going to lie. They looked beautiful, right?
I'm not talking about Al's $1 million price target. I'm talking about how he said the court was going to vote, to not allow the conversion to go through, and all the work he did in to prevent that. That was never going to, the court is not going to allow the company to fail.
100-year-old company, right?
That was in dire need of cash.
With millions of investors in it, you know what I mean? In dire need of cash. You think that the judge is just going to let them go belly up without diluting their shareholders to try and protect their shareholders? A nickel, and I hate to say this, but it's true, right? Like, I'm not making this up. It's common sense. Even if you only had a nickel left of your initial investment because of the dilution, the judge is still going to do that because at least you got something. If they went bankrupt, you get zero. I don't understand why people didn't understand that, Tony. I mean, I don't know.
Hawkeye says, has anybody seen the Venom movie? I have not seen it yet. I have 3, every Friday your A-list reset. So I had already seen 3 movies this week. I have 3 slots open right now. So I tweeted out this morning the 3 that I want to go see in the coming week. I'm going to try and get them in this weekend, but Venom is on my list. And the other 2 are We Live in Time. That's a date night movie. I'm going to take the wife to that one. I'm not sure if she wants to see Venom or not. And the other one is called Conclave. It's a movie about intrigue when the Pope dies and all the bishops or whatever they are get together and decide on who the new Pope is, and some secret things come out in the wash. That movie it's a smaller movie, but it's expected to do really well. It's gotten excellent reviews from what I recall. So those are my 3 that I want to see either this weekend or in the next week, time permitting. We Live in Time, Conclave and Venom. And, I'm not the biggest fan of CGI heavy superhero movies. So Venom is number 3 on my list in order of importance. But in fact, I just watched the first one this week, believe it or not. And I'm going to watch the second one before I go watch the new one. That's how little I care about those type of movies. But I will go just to support the company and buy a beer, buy some popcorn. I will go in Q4 to see it because it's important right now. It's important for you guys to, especially if you have an AMC near you and you enjoy movies, don't just sit there and complain about the price. Do something. Contribute. If you enjoy movies, contribute to the revenue. That's more important, in my opinion, right now than buying another 5 shares.
Hawkeye, I seen that trailer. I kind of am very interested in that movie myself.
What's up, Overboard? How you doing? The Heretic. Yeah, I'm hearing good things about The Heretic. I'm just really, really excited about the second half of this Q4. And I don't know. I don't know why. I tweeted out early this morning. Isn't it funny that all the analysts are coming out saying, "Oh, Cinemark's going to have a fantastic quarter based on increased box office in Q3. IMAX is going to blow it out the door. AMC, crickets." You got crickets. Nobody's saying anything. Like, you're gonna go to the mat, you professional analysts, Alicia and Eric, you 3 are going to go to the mat with your negative earnings.
Yeah, Tony. I mean, I made a video about Eric. Eric's the only one who put one out, and it wasn't a great.
He didn't even touch on earnings. He weaseled his way. Oh, the EV to EBITDA, blah, 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 blah. These motherfuckers, man. Just say it. Who's pulling their strings, mediocre? Just say that the company's going to have positive earnings. Are you that scared? I know I'm not smarter than these people, and I can see it.
I mean, I don't know, Tony.
This is their damn job, and they won't freaking say it. Why?
I don't know. It's funny. I made a video, and I'm like I'm like, they're gonna say something, Tony. They gotta say something, right? They're not gonna go to earnings without saying nothing, are they, Tony?
Well, I called one of the Erics last quarter and let him know that he was going to be wrong on his cash, and he fucking hung up on me. And I was very polite. I'm not one of those people that calls and harasses public officials.
You told him
I explained, I asked, my mom. He's like, my model accounts for that. I was like, Eric, did you not take into account maybe the cash raise? Oh yeah, I took into account the cash raise. And he went to the tape, mediocre, with his bad fucking forecast, and I fucking smoked that son of a bitch. Smoked him. I'm just a dumb cowboy sitting in my house watching this stock, and I smoked a professional analyst. So I don't know. I feel pretty good about my numbers that we're going to find out here in a week or so.
Yeah. I can't wait. You know what I noticed though today, Tony? The stock actually ran to 451.
I saw that.
I knew it wasn't going to close under though, Tony. I knew it wasn't going to close over is what I'm trying to say, because Max Payne was at $4, right? And but I'm like, it's not going to close at $4, but it ain't going to close over 450. So I just not doing nothing because I can't sell 450s, right? Because I'm not going to give up my shares just in case they want to push the envelope. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get caught. So I didn't do any of that. And then I'm like, so I'm thinking that next week we're going to be above 450.
I mean, if I was to do, I'm going to do a TA video for GameStop and AMC this weekend. And I said, I told you guys this past weekend on Sunday that I was hoping that we would push up close to this 200 moving average. And sure enough, we hit it today, mediocre. But what did I say would happen?
We'd reject.
Yes, I was hoping that we'd
That's
stick.
the same thing.
I was hoping we'd stick, but we rejected, and that's to be expected. This is not surprising to me. This is why, if you've been watching my TA videos, I'm looking at the 50 and the 200. They act as support and resistance on AMC and GameStop. But compared to the general trend on GameStop, which is down, AMC's been on an upward trend since the 9th of October. And I still think, I'll give you a preview of what I'm going to say this weekend. I think that trend will continue into the next 6 trading days, 7 to November 6th. I think that we see this trend slightly going up next week. It's going to be a hard battle because these fucking analysts aren't helping us.
Nope.
I was really counting on them to help us by saying something positive, but for whatever reason, insert conspiracy theory here, for whatever reason, they're not helping us.
No, they're not.
Hawkeye says maybe after hours. Yeah, I don't know. I want to say if it runs up after hours and sets a new base, that'd be party worthy.
Oh yeah.
But nothing fucking surprises me with this stock. They're gonna do the whole okay, they had positive earnings, but there's still risk of dilution, so we're keeping our price target at $4. That's what they're gonna do. I'm already telling you now.
I'm okay with that. I don't care what their price target is. I'm good.
Yeah,
with
I mean
that.
it doesn't matter. I just want to kind of level set some expectations because I hear the pumper bros out there telling you it's going to $20 in 2026. All right, maybe, probably, but we got to get through the rest of this year, guys. We got to clock some positive quarters. We got to hear from Adam and Sean that they wave the checkered flag that it's nothing but net going forward. And Wall Street, they'll come around it. You know, even if Adam and Sean don't say anything, if AMC starts posting consecutive quarters to reaffirm what we already learned last year, that around this level 2.6, the company can be profitable and not burn cash. If we can get 2 of those, say Q3 and Q4, that is key. And then if we can get a forecast for 2025 at what would that be? Just over 10 billion. That means no cash burn for next year. The only thing that's holding AMC back is the fear of a cash burn driving fear of dilution. So as that little bit of fog clears up over the next couple of quarters, maybe this story on Wall Street starts shifting. But I think that going to require all of us to be far more patient than some of the people I see on social media. And so I'm the patient one, but I hope I'm wrong. I hope it goes up faster than that, but it's not my current expectation that it just rockets up based on Q3 news. If that happens, beautiful. I'd love it.
Let's keep a rocket to my thumbnails, Tony.
Look who else is in the house. Broke Ape showed up blazing. What is going on? Long time no see.
Broke Ape, what's going on?
I think bottom line, we're kind of wrapping up because my wife's going to be home soon from yoga in the grocery store. She's buying her bunnies some more gourmet organic lettuce. Mediocre. My kind of view on this is people get upset at the price because they're listening to people that are hyping them on immediate price movement. And there should be no expectation for immediate price movement because there's no immediate, I'm talking Q1, Q2. Q3, Q4. There's no immediate expectation of massive earnings. If it is a huge beat in Q3 and a huge beat in Q4, that changes the story. And I'm okay. You don't hear me talking bad about people that have really high expectations. That's fine if that's their theory. I don't care. I hope they're right. I hope they're more right than me. But the problem is if you get your expectations too high, then your frustration also gets high if things don't pan out. So I just, what did they say back in the day, mediocre? Cool, calm, collected.
Yeah.
Just be cool, calm, collected. Have reasonable expectations. And if it takes a few quarters, you're just in chill mode. And if it exceeds what you think, then that's a blessing.
It's a lot easier when you take the emotion out of the trade, I think. Emotionless trading is what I really like. No problems. Easy.
Mediocre. There were a lot of the nitwit popcorn project people when it was dropping down to $4 that were saying, buy puts. It's going bankrupt. Reverse split incoming. Emotions on the negative side can really hurt you too. I'm talking to you guys that are betting against the company. You're not looking at the box office. You're not looking at the profit and loss statement. I know you're not looking at the financial statements. Be careful about your emotions on both sides. Don't let emotions drive your trades. Let the financial statements drive your DD. The box office and the financial statements, that is the only thing you should be looking at. And take emotion out of it. Take conspiracy theory out of it. Take Kool-Aid out of it. You don't need to run the numbers every day for 8 hours a day, is what I'm saying.
Run the numbers, huh?
Do you believe the box office is going to go up? Do you understand what it takes for AMC to be profitable and not have a cash burn? That's the only two things you need to worry about. And then decide what you want to do based on that. Do you think they're going to be profitable or not? That's your trade. You can bet for it or against it. I don't care. I really don't care. I've already told you how I'm betting. I can't guarantee I'm going to be right. It's a small trade for me at the moment. I have far more IMAX and MCS than I do AMC, but I have cash ready to go. And what else was I going to say?
I don't know. About AMC?
Yeah, something about emotional trading. The biggest risk we have is that, AMC has some news that we're not expecting. That was the other point. We're looking at box office, we're looking at cash flow, we're looking at balance sheet, but we must also keep in the back of our mind the company is still telling us that they have further work to do on the balance sheet.
Mm-hmm.
So that means, not trying to be negative here, but there will be some more debt for equity swaps, which is a form of dilution. There could be some more of those convertible notes sold. They have more approved that they haven't sold yet. That is potential future dilution. Those might affect the price. That's when we shake the dice in the cup and roll them out, that's the gamble we're taking. So that's why I'm being very particular, just like I am on GameStop, about trying to get the best entry I can. So if I'm wrong, at least I've limited my downside a little bit. Hope that makes sense. By wrong, I mean the company announces some news about more dilution or potential future dilution, as I just laid out, debt for equity swaps or convertible notes. If they do it at a point where I'm not anticipating they'll do it. Now, I know they're going to do some more, but I don't know the timing. And I spend a lot of time worrying about that, probably more than I should, considering how small my AMC position is right now. But a lot of y'all have considerable investment in it, far more than me. And so I'm doing my best to give you my thoughts, just to add into your mix of things to think about.
Look at that uptrend, though, Tony.
It is a nice little uptrend. I like it.
Yeah, I wish that well, it's getting there.
We had a nice bump here, mediocre, back in May from $4 up to 570. I mean, that could, look how many times we hit 570. There wasn't anything special going on here.
No, exactly.
The Roaring Kitty stuff was back here. What was going on here in July? Nothing.
Just people were interested in the stock. There wasn't. That's the thing is people get emotional, I think, too, when they see the stock coming down and it's getting beat up by the shorts, and they're using like, why are we down here? The truth is we got bad news on that. It started with that lawsuit, right? And we haven't heard anything from the lawsuit, and I think the shorts want to keep pushing it down. And
you want to hear my one conspiracy, mediocre?
Sure.
You don't hear these often from me, guys. I think, mediocre, that they were pushing it down to $4 because, I think it's tied into the fact that the analysts won't issue any upgrades on AMC. They were wanting to scare people out of the play. They were wanting people to buy puts.
I could agree with you on that statement.
They were wanting to take your fucking shares and take your money, knowing that the company is going to have a good quarter, and they're trying to steal your money if you're buying puts, and they're trying to accumulate your shares if you got scared out. And I believe that because I think that it's going to be a beat, and because after it hit 4, it's pretty much only gone up since then. That's what I think. I mean, I have no evidence to prove that. And I guess we'll see in the next 2 weeks how that plays out.
Never any evidence to prove that stuff, right? But I think that's probably the case as well. They use bad news to drive the stock where they want it to go. Which, by the way, I know a lot of people like to say that it's illegal, this, that, and the other thing, right? But if somebody has the money to move the stock, then they can use their money to move the stock, because there's nothing illegal about it, right? If you had their money and you wanted to move the stock in a direction and you were able to do it, you would do it too. I don't understand why people get upset about that. I don't like that they move the stock down either, but stocks don't only go up. They move in many different directions, mostly up, down, and to the right.
Up and down and to the right. Headstock Harem says, is there another chance for an ape scenario? I think the AMC learned the hard way that didn't really work out, Headstock Harem. I can't say that it would never happen again. They have 50 million preferred shares that they can always use for whatever they want. But right now, the only thing I'm thinking is they still have over 100 million common to use. That's a 400 million to 500 million plus, depending on where the price of the stock goes, cash raise potential. So I'm paying attention to that. I will be more concerned if they use up those 100 million shares. I don't think, this is just my opinion, I don't know. I don't think that they would do anything until they're out of shares. That's my guess. Do you have a different thought, mediocre?
No, that's my guess too, right? I also think that because they have such few shares, right? And and they understand. I know a lot of you don't think that they think this way, but I'm pretty sure they do. They understand how much um, the retail investor has sacrificed to help the company, whether willing or unwilling, right? That they are trying to do minimal damage to investors. They want to try to give back to you guys. I would think that they do, but they also need the company to survive to be able to do something like that. So I don't think that they would want to totally dump shares at a very low price. So I think that if we get any sort of dilution, in my opinion, not fact, I don't know. I think that it would be debt for equity. I don't think ATM is going to happen with 140 million shares left. That's what I mean.
Yeah, I think we're close to the end of the days, mediocre, where they're needing to do ATMs just to have enough cash to run the business.
That's what I'm saying.
We lived through that for the last 3 years. They were diluting because they were losing so much money. They needed
Right.
cash to run the business. We're close to the end of days for that because things are looking good from what we know going forward. So now the only dilution we need to worry about is to finish off correcting the balance sheet to get
Right.
into a positive working capital situation to be able to pay off whatever remaining debt that is lingering out there 2025 2026. That needs to be addressed, and it will be. That's why you can't ignore that. As you're listening to the people who don't talk about that, they give you all these very high price targets, but they don't talk about the debt's still there. There's debt coming due in 2025 and 2026. It will be addressed. You can bet on it. I don't know why some of these pumper guys aren't talking about that, but still there. So you can't ignore that. But to get back to your question, I'm watching the number of common that they have left. And if they ever start running out of that, then I'm going to raise my DEFCON level.
Absolutely.
Just being honest, like something's going to need to happen if they run out of shares.
They've got to have shares.
There's three choices as I see it, mediocre. If we ever get to that day, reverse split. I'm not advocating for any of these. I'm just saying there's only three real choices if you run out of shares. Reverse split.
Yep.
Because that would free up shares. You don't have to ask the investors to approve anything. That's an easy thing to do.
And they got the Delaware courts that they don't even need our permission.
Yeah, the Delaware laws changed. They can do that very easily now. That'd probably, excuse me, that'd be the easiest thing. They could ask, second option, they could ask investors to approve more shares. You know how that's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody will approve that. We already have a long history of people not showing up to vote. And the third option would be to do another ape. And I just think that they saw that didn't work out like they hoped it would. So if their back's up against the wall and they're out of shares down the road, what do you think's the most logical step that they would take?
I'm leaning to if it ever had to be something, I'm leaning more likely a reverse split because then they could get the shares and they
And
get debt for
and again, I'm going to say mediocre just to piss off all my haters. It's not going to be the reverse split that makes the price fall.
exactly.
Reverse split is meaningless. But if they are forced to do a reverse split, it's going to be why? Because they're out of shares and they know that they need more shares to raise cash or pay off
If need
debt.
be. Not that they have to raise the cash, if need be, right? They cannot go with no shares, you guys. It can't happen.
They need to have a safety cushion, is what you're saying.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. And I'm not advocating for that or any of that, right? Like right now we got 140 million shares. And that's why I don't think he should be doing any dilution and I don't think he's going to. Right? He has to get decent amount of money for that to pay off a decent amount of debt. You know, and with that, that's just what I think. If he doesn't have to do anything, like he takes his time doing that, we're good.
So those are things that we're thinking about and looking at, farther out on the horizon, but they're not on our immediate. I see all the popcorn project people, reverse split inbound. Why? Like, why would they do a reverse split? They've got 100 million shares left.
Yeah.
These people don't even understand fundamentally why the first one happened, because the company needed money. And we're entering a phase now where I don't see that huge cash burn being in the company's future.
No.
But if that changes, I'll tell you.
Right.
I'll tell you. We will talk about it if that changes.
If something happens with AMC where they need more cash for whatever reason, then it's a problem, right? Because then they don't have a choice. But as long as they can keep the 800 million on the balance sheet and keep paying down the debt with whatever profits we're making, or if need be, having to do small dilutions or debt for equities swaps, which is probably going to happen. I'm not advocating for it, but you got to realize that at some point, where else are they going to get the money? Just be prepared for it and have it in the back of your mind. Think about what is going to happen. It's common sense.
Watch the box office, watch the balance sheet, watch the cash flow. And if you're not good at that, I'll be providing updates from time to time, especially if I see something. I do a lot less of it on YouTube because of the amount of people that just don't want the info. And when I say don't want the info, they send me death threats. So I mostly publish it in the Discord. Any and every day that I have something for people to think about related to this play, I just put it in there. And it's unfortunate that we got to this point, but we got a lot of, as I said, fringe conspiracy people on both sides, for AMC and against it, that don't want folks to explain the financial statements. And it really makes me sad that I can't provide you guys the info I want to because of a couple of lunatics. But you know the ones I'm talking about. You all know them.
But that's the thing is once you learn this stuff, you can apply it to other tickers, other companies, right? It's not only about AMC. That's why I don't understand why people don't want to why they're that way, Tony. It doesn't make sense to me. Be open-minded, people.
There's two types of plays, mediocre. There's the one you hop in and you hop out and you never need to worry about the financial statements. And then there's the ones where you're going to be holding them a while. You better fucking understand the financial statements. You better have read the risk factors. And you better not, Mike the Marine, tell us they just put those risk factors in there to scare you, to make you not hold the stock. Come on, man. That makes no sense. Come on, Mike. You know better than that, man. Or do you? All right, mediocre. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. You got any closing thoughts? Maybe we should end this with a song for anybody who hadn't heard it yet. Let's get some closing thoughts in here. Oh, let's talk about Tesla before we wrap up here. Oh my gosh. The missed play of my lifetime this week, mediocre. Did you watch this damn thing?
I heard about it. I didn't watch it. I was busy.
I really wanted to buy this. I wanted to buy some call options, but I was too nervous. Let me put up the chart.
I did absolutely hear about it. Tesla always makes me nervous. Oh my god!
Look at this shit, man. 211 to 269. The options mediocre, they were up like over 2,000%.
Wow. That's a massive gain, Tony. That's huge money right there.
It's ridiculous.
That's a big money stock, you know.
Yeah, the problem is, I mean, to buy a call option, I I saw people that during the Tesla event on Twitter, they were like, during the Tesla event, I was long and the stock tanked and I lost all my money. So before earnings, I bought puts, and of course it went up. So they lost money twice. That's unfortunate. But I have traded options on Tesla from time to time, sometimes a day trade, sometimes an overnight trade. I did not do it this time because I was not sure what was going to happen. And they fucking knocked it out of the park. And I'm just kicking myself mediocre.
So Tony, I know I've been labeled as a trust fund baby and all that, but this Tesla's a little too rich for my blood. You know, it's
I don't mind swing trading the stock, and I don't mind buying the options, but I got to have more than a flip a coin gut feel of what's going to happen.
yeah. I mean, that's the problem with it. It's very volatile, that stock.
I mean, if you were buying calls, how much do they cost? Just as an example, I'm going to look at next week's At the Money 269. They're like $900.
Yeah.
I mean, if per option you buy, I saw Colin lost $200,000 on the Tesla event overnight. I don't want to lose $200,000 overnight. So
Me neither.
I'm not willing to flip that coin. Now, I think he made it back this week, and God bless him. If you had the balls to do it. But what if it went down again? Can you imagine losing 200,000 and then losing another 100 again? Like that? A couple of those in a row will wipe you out, mediocre.
That's what I'm saying. I'm all set.
So wow. All I'm going to say is wow, and congrats if you played this one and you made money. I love to see you guys make money. Congrats.
Put up Broke Ape's comment. I can't. Oh shit.
Broke Ape. What? Also remember, supply and demand don't matter. Endless entertainment on YouTube, Broke Ape. The people who have consistently lost 99% of their money over the last 3 years on play after play after play. And I'm talking dozens of plays trying to tell us what works and doesn't work. I mean, I had mediocre. I went through my portfolio with you this morning. How many stocks did I tell you I was in the red on everything I own? Do you remember?
I don't. Was I busy when you told me? I know that you exited one play that we had.
I'm only red on 2 plays on a wide portfolio. I was red on Boeing.
Yep.
And I sold it because I was down 10% and I'm not confident that it's going to bounce. And I think the other one that I might be a little bit red on, I think I said it was Intel. Let's check.
Oh yeah, you did say that. I do remember that. Yeah, but we talked about Intel.
No, I can't be red on Intel because I'm in at 19 and $20. And there's one other stock I think that I was a little bit red on. But I don't know. If you think what we do doesn't work, I don't know what to tell you. My entire portfolio is green and we're doing just fine. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say except stop being a hater and start asking questions. We are literally here because we want to help you.
Exactly.
We don't hate any of your stocks. We don't hate any of you. And we want to have some conversations and help you guys make money. That's it.
I mean, even if you make stupid videos about me, I don't really hate you, just so you know. I find it comical, but, you know.
Anya says, I was red until I found you guys. Thank you, Anya.
I appreciate that.
Anya says, look at RTX. All right, last stock of the night, guys. RTX. Wow. Look at that. Beautiful. I love it when you guys give me charts that look like this.
That's
Mediocre.
that's
What do we call this, mediocre?
it's moving up and to the right.
Up and to the right. Yeah. You don't need to draw any fake arrows here, mediocre. You don't need to come live every day and drop your arrow. That is a great chart, Anya. $43 to $125. Beautiful. What the heck is this company?
I don't know.
Stocks profile. I don't know why I had this here. It keeps disappearing. RTX is an aerospace and defense company. Is this what used to be Tracor?
I have no idea.
Oh, Raytheon. All right. Yeah. I used to work on Raytheon equipment when I was in the military. Raytheon and Tracor. Any of y'all that go way back in the military aerospace. So yeah, beautiful stock, Anya. There's just one other thing, mediocre. I was remembering because some of these people that try and do financial statement analysis and like, this company's trash. This is gross. I don't even understand why it's going up. Look at X, Y, Z. These companies. Look at them. Look at them. They're trading at 40 times their book value. I don't get it. Stop looking at book value. There's one thing to look at if the company's making money. Earnings.
Mm-hmm.
Stop looking at book value. Stop being misled by these dummies, these grifters on the other channels talking about, I don't understand why is this company trading at 40x book value? Because they have earnings. You dummy. I'm not calling you guys dummy. I'm talking about the dummy that keeps focusing on book value because right now it's the only thing to talk about on GameStop. Yeah, they have a great balance sheet, but they have no earnings. If the only tool in your toolbox is book value, you're going to go to every stock and try and turn the screw, but you got a hammer. You're going to fail to understand every stock
Hammer,
out there.
Tony. I said a fucking hammer. God.
Good Lord, like read a damn book. Learn how to value companies based on expected future earnings, discounted cash flow, return on equity, return on assets, like a normal person, like anybody on Wall Street, like anyone who took an accounting or a finance class. Don't try and push yourself off as an expert when your leading analysis of every company on your channel is book value. It's embarrassing. Stop. You're misleading people daily. And the guy who's doing it knows exactly who I'm talking to. It's embarrassing for you, and it's costing your viewers money. Learn how to do a proper financial analysis. Learn how to do a fair value analysis off of earnings. And then you can figure out when's a good time to buy a company or what it could be worth in a year or two. Anyways, mediocre. Rant over. Let's go out with a song, mediocre.
Let's do it.
Go sub to Mediocre Trader.
Yeah, right here, my YouTube channel. Go sub, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll have some fun.
He's working hard to start putting out some video content instead of just being a guest on this show. And so I'm sure he'd appreciate if you guys give his videos a view. And I'm going to send us out with a GameStop song. Just a reminder, if you missed this in the beginning or you missed our GameStop talk, I do not own any GameStop. So no, I'm not pumping it. I have no options on GameStop. I swing trade GameStop and I'm waiting for the price to come down a little bit. So if it does, then I'll buy some, but I just made this for fun. Hope you guys enjoy it. And we will see you.
And to the right. Up.
Good night.
And to the right. Up. And to the right.
Oh, millionaire.
Up. And to the right. Up. And to the right. Up. And to the right. Up. And to the right.
Hello, millionaire. Short screenplays where fortunes flip. GameStop's journey, an epic trip. From humble roofs to the moon we fly. A company's dream will amplify. Reddit warriors, keyboards in hand. With their eyes on the prize, they took a stand. No one's selling, we're here to fight. How does it go? Up and to the right. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. It stops on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar, our ass is in sight. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. It stops on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar, more asses in sight. Hedge funds trembling, Kenny's in shock. GameStop stock, you'll never stop. From diamond hands to rocket ships, we're not selling, we buy every dip. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. Up and to the right, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Up and to the right, more asses in sight. Billions in cash on the balance sheet. We will win even if they cheat. Dilute us more, we don't care. Book value grows with every share. The doubters say it can't be done, but the retail army we've already won. With every share we'll never stop. Investors say we love the stock. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. It stops on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar, up and to the right. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. Together we'll soar, up and to the right.
Surprise!